Hey everybody, Dr. Josh Axe here. So excited today to be with Chalene Johnson and myself and my wife, Dr. Chelsea. We are huge fans of hers. We've been doing her fitness workouts and following her for years. And she has a new book out, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But we want to talk about your new method. It is the 131 method. And again, and I think one of the things I think a lot of viewers are going to be excited to hear today is, hey, how do we improve our health? How do we improve our fitness? But also our mental health and physical health, our overall body health. So we're going to get into a lot of that stuff today. But again, hey,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a true honor.
Well, great. Well, so first off, what is 131? What does that stand for?
Yeah. So 131 really stands for the approach, the methodology, and it's not a diet, it's a way of living that's very personalized. The first one stands for, figuring out like what is it you want to work on? Maybe it isn't weight loss, maybe it's your hormones are out of whack, or you're dealing with brain fog, or you feel very fatigued. So you pick your number one health objective. The 3 stands for 3 weeks of dietary phasing. In other words, like trying a new approach to see how your body responds. And the final one is for a week of fasting and refueling. And Josh, I don't necessarily mean like doing a pure water fast. We can talk about the different types of fasts that we discuss in the book, but there's fast mimicking, where you're actually eating in such a way that your body
Yeah.
believes that you're fasting. And really even the style of fast that you select should be very personalized. There isn't one way to do anything.
Yeah, so first off, I couldn't agree more. I'm a huge fan of Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, and these forms of medicine for thousands of years are based off of eating right for your type, eating right for you. And as you're saying, there's not one type of diet for everybody. So first off, I mean, I just love your approach in that you're able to, in your new book, customize the diet for everybody. And by the way, if you haven't seen Shalene's new book, it is the 131 method. You get it at Amazon.com, bookstores nationwide. But let's continue to dive in. Dive a little bit more into point one, and what are some of the things that you get into specifically in your book?
Yeah. Well, I think that what's really most important when we talk about personalizing our diets, people are so reluctant to do that because they feel like, well, how can I? All I've done is fail. I need an expert to tell me exactly what to do. So
Hmm.
how is it I can personalize it if I don't have that knowledge? So the book really starts by building that foundation so you understand what's going on in your body, and if this happens, what is the result, and how you can impact that, and so that people have all the tools, all the information they need, at least at a minimum level, to make those personalized decisions like, okay, should I titrate my carbohydrate consumption up a little bit? Is it appropriate for me to be fasting right now, or would that have a dramatic negative impact on my adrenals? So that people really understand the information at a basic level that they need to decide how they're personalizing their approach.
Well, I love that. And you just even mentioned something that a lot of people don't realize. But yeah, if your adrenals are totally taxed, that's not the ideal time to do a hardcore fast. I've seen plenty of people over the years who have said, I'm going to do a hardcore fast or cleanse when instead they should just be nourishing their body with maybe some broth or a soup or a specific other type of diet. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a great point because sometimes people can make themselves worse just by saying, because here's what happened. I mean, how you hear this all the time. Hey, I'm on this diet. I mean, whether it's vegan or keto or I'm drinking only grapefruit juice for this month, or, that was
Right,
actually a
right, right.
thing four
Yep,
years
yep.
ago. But all that being said, people just kind of going with the flock just because there's a large amount of people doing it doesn't mean it's the right diet for those people out there.
That's right. And part of that is because we have been so conditioned by our diet and our fitness culture to fail. It's what makes the machine move. That there's a new diet, that there's a new exercise program that's going to be our answer. And when we try something new, which is kind of like phasing, when we try something new, it does work for a little while, then our body's homeostasis kicks in.
Yeah.
But when it does work, we get really excited and we're like, "Okay, that's cool. I'm getting my keto tattoo across my back. I'm going straight keto. I'm going to preach it to everybody, or veganism, or paleo, whatever it is. It's just that we believe, okay, this is working. And then when it stops working for us, we blame ourselves and go, I just need to do this harder. and we become more defensive about our way of eating as opposed to being very open-minded to science. Like we all have to be ready to say, this is what we know today, and stop
Yeah.
saying this is the only thing. This is what we know today. And we know so much more in the last 5 years than we did in the last 50. So based on what I know today, this is what is working for me right now. And instead, what people I think are doing, which is of great detriment, is attaching their identity to a way of eating. And then attaching morality. Like I hate words like cheat,
Yeah.
like this is my cheat day. Well, I think the term
Yeah.
cheating is a word we should use for people who um, have cheated on their spouse, not for
Yeah.
someone who decides to have more carbs that day.
Right. Absolutely. That's a great. I had a mentor, and so we always called it your vacation. You taking your vacation meal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a great point. And one of the things too, one of the things I love about your story, and I know you get into this in your book, is that this method diet lifestyle that you've created for people that I know people have seen so much success with. This was born out of your own heartache. This is born out of your own health challenges, right?
Yeah. At the peak of my notoriety, if you will, for being a health and fitness professional, I looked the part. I had a number one fitness infomercial and I went to have a brain scan because I just knew something wasn't right. My doctor was like, well, my GP was, of the mindset, well, this is aging. Welcome to getting older. I'm like, I just don't think that, yeah, I obviously I'm getting older, but there's something else going on. I had my brain scanned and learned that I really, on the day that I had my scan read, got a failing health score. It was a shock. And, I sat across the table from Dr. Amen and he just said, listen, I know who you are and I know what you do. And I know people see you as a health and fitness professional, but you're not healthy right now. And I get chills thinking about it because I was like, he must be reading someone. My first thought is maybe he's reading someone else's results. My second thought was shame. Like, how could this be? I can't let anyone ever find this out. I was deficient in almost every vitamin and mineral that's essential for hormone balance and brain health and brain function and gut health. And I had leaky gut and chronic fatigue. My adrenals were shot. My thyroid wasn't working. Like you name it, I was just a wreck. But I looked the part. And so I really had to take a step back and ask myself if I was really serious about helping people. I needed to figure out how I got into this position and how many people had followed what I had been preaching and doing, and I'd led them down the same path.
Mm. Yeah. So I know what's what I see with so many health professionals is that, and I'll include myself in this. We a lot of us are so driven and driven by some of the motives good. Like we want to help people, we want to transform lives. I know you like I love getting those hugs from old patients or people that have recognized me saying, hey, I followed your advice and it helped me. But at the same time, it's really easy to sacrifice your own health while doing it. I know my first year in practice, I was working so many hours and I gave myself gut issues because it wasn't a diet thing. I was working so darn much.
Yeah.
But I can personally relate to your story. I think there's a lot of professionals out there who have harmed their own health because of maybe good motives there as well. So share a little bit with me too. One of the things you said too in this fitness industry, there's kind of a dark side to the fitness industry. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's popular and it's getting worse, I think, because of platforms like Instagram. You're going to get far more likes and more followers if you are so lean that we can see the outline of your liver.
Yeah.
And, you've got striated veins on your abs, and that's like hashtag goals. And that is, especially for women, that is so incredibly unhealthy to have your body fat, especially for me personally, to have my body fat so low that you can see the outline of my six pack genetically.
Yeah.
I've got to be around 9% body fat to make that happen. And that is not healthy nor sustainable. In order for me to acquire the look that, frankly, I was told consumers would find more inspirational and to be in those videos, I had to go to extremes. And I wasn't asked to go to extremes, but I was asked to look a certain way.
Yeah.
This next series sure would be popular if you cut down a little bit. Like you just really got shredded. And when I had that conversation, I think I was at like 13% body fat. And I thought, well, okay, I don't know what else to do except to exercise more. So I upped my exercise to about 3 hours a day, intense. And I just kept cutting back and cutting back and cutting back my food. If I told you what I was eating, I'm not going to tell you what I was eating because it wasn't much and it had zero really true nutritional content to it, nothing
Yeah.
natural. It was just like, okay, this little package of protein snacks says it's got this many calories and this many grams of protein. So therefore, and I saw someone else who's in my industry eating the same thing. That's the only thing I'm going to eat. And as a result, I was able to get my body fat a little bit lower and did one of the projects that like really kind of brought it to a head for me. I stepped onto the set having been asked to look a certain way, and I stepped onto that set up just broken. Like I had no energy. I couldn't function. Every time I stepped into my dressing room, I just broke down crying hysterically. I didn't know why. But I was empty. And I posted a picture of myself on Instagram the day that we went to film. And I mean, I look anorexic. I was purely orthorexic. Like there's no question about it. And the comments I got were, it was a incredibly popular post because I looked so ridiculously lean. It was like hashtag goals, hashtag, what are you doing? Oh my God, I can't wait for this new program. I have to know what you're doing. Just so crazy. And what did I do? I said, I'm doing my program, which was being marketed as a program that you could obtain these results in 30 minutes a day with this, meal plan. And I wasn't doing that. And it wasn't that I was trying to mislead consumers. I just believed other people would be able to do that. I'm just broken in order for me to look like all these people. This is what I have to do. And since that time, I've had thousands of women come forward and say, I am so glad you said this. I was in the same position, exercising more, eating less, believing that there was something wrong with me. And I had to go to these extremes to try to look like other people. So Josh, I start my book out with an apology for not taking my responsibility and the platform that God has given me, for not taking it seriously during that time. And this is my opportunity to get it right.
Yeah, what it's powerful. I was actually teaching a seminar here this past 2 weeks ago in New York, and I had a woman who, honestly, I'm almost certain she's probably a huge fan of yours. She's an up and coming sort of does fitness videos, part of the industry, and she asked me. She said, "Hey, I want to have this six pack, but anytime I do get it, I stop having my menstrual cycle and my hormones, and I go into depression and anxiety." And one of the things I explained to her, our body fat in men, but more in women, women's body fat acts like an organ. You have your pituitary and your adrenals and thyroid and ovaries, and these give off certain hormones. Well, your body fat actually acts as an organ and gives off hormones as well. So literally, when your body fat gets too low, imagine taking an organ away. Imagine taking your liver away or your stomach, or it's going to affect your body in a big way. And so again, once you get down to a certain point, especially as you're saying, lower than 13 for a lot of women, you're affecting your hormones in a negative way for most people. Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. And it's crazy how, what you do is you feel really bad, but yet there's lots of praise. And I made this comment the other day here's the thing, we all do this. When you see someone who's lost a massive amount of weight, we just go, you look great. What have you been doing? Even if we don't think they look great, we just don't know what else to say. And I see this happen all the time in social media. People will post this after photo and they're just like shredded. And I think to myself now, I wonder how they feel. I wonder how they
Yeah.
really feel. But no matter how they feel, it's getting sugar coated with all the praise that we're sending to people. So I caution people to be very careful to comment on people's bodies in general, because it can really mess up your mind, and it's so confusing. Like I was so confused that I felt so bad. I also knew there's no way I could maintain it. I felt like a fraud. I felt like an imposter, but at the same time, it was also, really nice to have all these people like suddenly seeing me as like a fitness inspiration. It's really a confusing time. And so today my one of my missions is to just help people understand we weren't meant to do that. We shouldn't be destroying our health in the name of fitness, and we shouldn't be following one person's diet plan. We need to figure out what's right for us. And it's not, you can't look at someone and know that they're healthy. You cannot. Health comes from the inside.
Yeah, it's good. I want to encourage everybody. Hey, make sure to check out Shalene's book. Shalene's book. It is on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, bookstores all across the country. It is the 131 method. And especially if you're a person watching this and you're saying to yourself, man, I'm sick of these diets where I kind of crash and burn, and you want to eat a diet that's right for you and a diet that is healthy and where you're going to be able to do something that's sustainable. I want to encourage you to check out her new book. Now, what are do you have any recipes in the book or meal plans or anything like that you could share
Yeah,
with
we've got
us?
over 100 recipes in the book. And I think this is kind
Wow,
of funny.
that's
I
a
have to
lot for a
admit
book.
this. This girl right here has no business in any kitchen, but she knows people who are great chefs, including my husband. So my husband,
That's
and we've got
great.
a team of folks on the staff who are really good in the kitchen. And I am really quite talented at throwing things in a bowl. But the recipes are delicious, and they're phased. So you can find recipes that are plant-based. You can find recipes that are, ketogenic friendly. You can find recipes that are really a mix so that you're eating what we call a healthy diet, not necessarily full high blown healthy fats, but a nice moderate level of carbohydrates, and just some great recipes. And I know you're such a fan of herbs and spices, and we've
Oh
got a
yeah.
wonderful recipe in there that I think helps people truly kick the diet soda habit and start drinking more water. And it's my favorite recipe for lemon cayenne ginger water. And it's really what helped me to break almost 20-year addiction to Diet Coke. Am I
Wow,
embarrassed to say? Yeah. Yeah, I've
that's
had an awakening.
amazing.
Yeah. And I think for so many people, it's just figuring out ways that nothing should feel like a diet. Like just do this in stages.
Yeah.
Lots of forgiveness. There's no being on a plan or off a plan. Like it's health. It's a
Yeah.
continuum. Just try to be 1% better every day. Just 1% better.
That's good. Let me ask you this. So for you, what do you typically eat now? Like what's a breakfast you love to do, maybe a lunch or a dinner, and then a dessert?
Oh, it's fun. I just love greens now. I literally crave greens in a way I never imagined I would. I will a lot of times do what I think most people would consider a lunch for breakfast. So I phase my intermittent fasting. I do intermittent fasting, but I also phase off of it so that my
Yeah.
body never kind of gets stuck in that. But I love doing eggs for breakfast. I'll do whole eggs. I'll do that
Nice.
in a bed of greens. I sip on bone broth throughout the day.
There you go.
It's really helped me a ton. For lunch, I love to do a salmon, again, fresh greens, maybe some cauliflower rice, which is delicious.
Oh
Doesn't
yeah.
taste anything like cauliflower. And then for dinner, I love to do greens again. Always start with greens. Always start with a plant base first. And we love using bone broth there to just richen the flavor of
Yeah.
things. And we'll do a pasture raised, grass finished, sometimes an animal protein for dinner. Sometimes I'll just do avocado and healthy nuts. And, just I try to make sure that whatever it is, I'm aware of how it was grown and where it came from, its
Yep.
source. And in the past, the only thing I cared about was what's the protein content,
Mm.
and what how low is it in fat, and what are the calories. I haven't looked at calories in probably 3 years, which is crazy to me to think
Wow.
of. And even just to think that there was a point at which I literally every day was working at least 3 hours a day. And if I only could work out for 2 hours, I was depressed because I thought, well, tomorrow I'm going to gain weight. And now today I wake up and I go, how does my body feel? Should I exercise, or does my body feel like it needs rest? And maybe
Wow.
now I'm always going to move.
Yep.
No question about it. That is a gift from God to have that. And I want to honor it. So every day I'm going to move. I'm going to walk my dogs. I'm going to, walk barefoot on the beach, get those biomes. But if I don't feel like pounding my body, if my body feels like it needs something restorative, then I choose movement that's restorative.
I love it. That's awesome. And it's just, everything you're sharing is so important. It's so in line with, what what I teach and what I believe as well. And I want to encourage everybody, I have a lot of people I interview over the years. I've read a lot of fitness books myself and nutrition books, but I want to encourage everybody to check out Shalene's new book. It is the 1-3-1 method. And she really gets into, number one, you're saying a personalized diet, and then also getting into that 3-week diet that's right for everybody, and then different forms of cleansing and fasting and those sort of things. But again, it's all personalized, which I love and I think is so important for so many people. And do you talk much, get into fitness in the book as well?
I do. Not as in depth probably as what people are hoping for, like a fitness plan. But again, the approach there is figuring out what does your body need right now? Like if
That's
you are in
good.
complete adrenal failure and you're thinking, gosh, I'm gaining weight and your hypothyroidism is, really taking hold. And that's when people tend to believe that they need to exercise harder. And we really talk about what I call this common body sense. Like we know what common sense is, but do we have common body sense? I
Mm,
think that's been marketed out of us where we're supposed to wake up every day and there's these programs now where you're supposed to go 100 days straight or 90
yeah.
days straight. And it's like, well, not, no, you actually should wake up each day and say, what does my body need? Same thing with intermittent fasting. People attach their identity to this. And I saw someone the other day went on Instagram and they're like, I'm starving. Guys, I'm absolutely starving, but I've got 1 more hour until I can eat. And I thought, that's someone who's teaching, and it was a very big fitness influencer, teaching people to ignore the cues from their body. If that person is
Yeah.
starving, then they're not in ketosis. Because if you're truly in ketosis, you are not starving.
Yeah.
And so there's something going on there where and then to be so controlled by a rule
Mm.
versus your common body sense. I think we really have to tap back into that. We have to teach people that they have permission to.
Yeah, I mean, listening to our body is huge. I mean, with any, with all things in life, I think it's a big deal. I want to say, hey, thanks for coming on, Shalene. This was an awesome interview. I really appreciate you. Where can people find out more about you, connect with you online?
Awesome. You can go to 131method.com. Or, of course, I love saying hello to you on Instagram. I am at Shalene Johnson.
Yeah, and again, I love your Instagram page. It's fantastic. So
Thank
everybody
you.
should check out that page there. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching this episode. And Shalene, hey, honored to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Dr. Axe.